I'm gonna start now. 5 to 7, Miss Timer. Okay. Good morning, fellow Toastmasters and the guests. You know, the US presidential election just ended 2 weeks ago. Like every election in the US history, this year the result has made some people happy and some angry. That is not a surprise. But for me, what makes this year so special is that I am seeing the massive influence of social media. I bet many of you are seeing it too, right? I remember before November 5th, every day, whenever I opened my computer, I couldn't walk away without being bombarded by the endless election news. To make it worse, there was no neutralized media. For example, in a Kamala Harris support channel, I could see nothing but how Kamala was a great presidential candidate, while her opponent, Donald Trump, was evil. In the meantime, the same trick was played at all Donald Trump support channel. You see what the irony is? They all claim that they were seeking the truth and presenting us the truth. This reminds me of a Chinese proverb. It tells of a frog that lives in a deserted well. The frog is free and happy. He is the biggest and smartest creature in a little well. Over time, he comes to believe that he knows everything about the world. He's like, hey, what's in the sky? It's just a little circle above my head. Something like that. Today, as we are drawn in the flood of media every day, I can't help but imagine that I am that frog living in the well. You see, my well is the computer screen, cell phone, and the endless election email ads coming to my inbox every second. I jog through all these different media, and I feel I'm in the full control, and I become so confident that I know everything about the world. What I don't know, though, is that the world in my eyes is exactly what the media feeds me. One day, I talked to my friend that living in the age of social media, it's like a frog living in a well. He argued that, hey, come on, the well is truly a small world, but internet is limitless. I was like, really? Are you sure internet is limitless? You see, for the frog, his sky is the little circle above his head. But for me, my sky is the little screen. It's even smaller. And through the screen, the big techs, AI, have decided what to feed me. Over time, I only see the information that agrees with me. And then I proudly think, aha, I know it all. Exactly like the frog living in a well who believes that he knows everything about the world. So humans, black frogs, we are not so different when it comes to understanding the world. If there is any difference, it would be we humans live in the millions of wells that are connected by internet, manipulated by AI, and controlled by the money-hungry big techs. Back in the day, the frogs in the wells across the world, whether they were from LA, New York, or Europe, we were not much aware of the wells rather than our own. But today, internet promises us boundless knowledge. But we know still big tech and AI algorithm decide how and what knowledge to be delivered to us. And their primary goal is never the truth. It's money. We all know that, right? So although internet presents us infinite knowledge, but there is one exception. It cannot bring down the wealth that surround us. Or it doesn't just want to, because that is where money is made. So let's face it, the wealth will not come down anytime soon. As far as knowledge remains as a commodity, whether it's for commercial or political agenda, this well-connected wealth will remain as a riddle in our modern life. That is why the US election this year has come as a big surprise for many of us. But you know what? 200 years ago, an American writer, Mark Twain, seen it very clearly. He said, it's not what you don't know that gets you into the trouble. It's what you know for sure that just isn't sure. So dear fellow Toastmasters, one of the humans' beliefs is that we believe the knowledge that we know is infinitely smaller than what we don't. But today, internet presents us a big challenge to this belief by promising us infinite knowledge. And this year, US election rings an alarm bell of this challenge. What can we do about it? Can we cut the internet to eliminate this challenge? Of course not. Internet has permeated all aspects of our life. But don't be disappointed. Don't be sad, because we can still do something. We can acknowledge that the little circle above our head, it's not in the whole world. It's never been. It's just a tiny, tiny patch of the sky. So let's stay humble and stay hungry. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Bond. Did everyone enjoy that? I certainly did. And now it is time for our next speaker. And I would invite everyone in the audience to send a private message in the chat box to Bond regarding how you felt about his speech. Our next speaker is a new member of our club, Georgina Tal Salazar. Georgina's title is, let me see, From Observer to Owner, an unexpected small business awakening. Georgina, take it away.
I spent years in academia, helping professors translate their best ideas into tangible products. Between my undergrad and grad school time, I worked for a man called Floyd Romsberg at the Scripps Research Institute here in San Diego. And I just Googled him before this, and I saw he co-founded a company that was acquired by Sanofi in 2019 for 2.5 billion. I always knew my graduate school supervisor, Nancy Alberton, had companies, but before this, I wanted to have some numbers. So I Googled her too, and I saw her discoveries have currently contributed to 15 commercial products and become the basis of 4 companies. And despite having been close to this and observed the progress from discovery to business, I never thought about starting my own company because I didn't have their brilliance. I didn't have a product, and I didn't have the environment that they had of being a professor at a university or major research institute. Then my youngest sister registered a company to help people with behavioral and developmental disorders using skills that she built as a special education teacher. And she was a close role model that I needed to make a change in my professional path. Madam Toastmaster, fellow members and guests, today it's my pleasure to be breaking the ice with entrepreneur Toastmasters and sharing my journey to entrepreneurship, which I believe I'm posing it as based on free spirit from a diverse background, unique lifestyle, and support of Toastmasters. So the diverse background, I am the uh, I'm of mixed race from two immigrant backgrounds. My mother is from the Pacific island of Samoa, and my father is Mexican American. They met here in San Diego, which is a city constantly filled with new arrivals, in part thanks to the military and in part thanks to having a lot of services for people who are seeking asylum. My journey through academia um, was 2 decades. Like I was in a science, working as a science researcher, and for about 2 decades. It seems really long. It gives me pause. But over that time, I did research. I wrote scientific papers, and applied for grants, which equipped me with specialized knowledge and collaborative skills. So the legacy of this background is the immigration and and the career in universities gave me a kind of love of a freedom in a work environment, um, and not not very good sticking into a puzzle like as a my puzzle piece is kind of odd edges. That was always the case, but it was when I saw that my youngest sister had her own company, um, even if it wasn't a big company, it was something that she could start on the side. That was when I kind of had the realization, oh, she can do it. She's close to me, then I can do it too. So the other example I had of something that contributes to my free spirit, I have a story about when I was a kid, my mom had clear advice. Stay away from boys. They are trouble. Focus on your education. Her passionate words, or the words and the passion with which she gave them to me, echo in my mind forever. And I didn't realize, but she didn't intend it to echo that long or that far. So after I came back from visiting my parents after finishing my PhD, she looked at me with concern and asked, "Why aren't you married yet?" When I was your age, I had kids, and I was like, "Oh, it was a classic case of parental miscommunication, child over the generations, I don't know. But one moment, to me, it seemed like one moment, uh, boys or romantic relationships were trouble, and then the next, they were like essential for fulfilling life. Um, but for me, that was never the case. I don't know that that was just my nature. And I couldn't help but laugh when I heard about this thing called the 4B movement early this year. Do people know about 4B? So 4B is something that they named in Korea where women um, do not engage in relationships with men, basically. And like those women, I'm single and child free, but it wasn't a conscious choice. It was just who I was. Um, and this is one thing that leads me to want to work for myself so that I can make a unique impact even without having children, my own children, to remember me later. And the final element I say contributes to my sense of freedom. The sense of freedom I needed to have my own business is Toastmasters. So I was first introduced to Toastmasters by an interviewer who rejected me, saying that it's a good chance to practice interacting because I have a lot of social anxiety, and it did do that. So I've been in Toastmasters now for over 20 years, off and on, and I've gained a lot of confidence and even leadership experience. And the uh, that's what led me, like, even after a gap, to keep coming back. And so I'm happy to be here with Entrepreneur Toastmasters in particular to specifically support my goals for to recover social fluidity for business networking. And that's it. That's a glimpse into my background that gave me an aspiration for working for my own business. I'm thrilled to be part of this community. I love to see how everyone embraces vulnerability and celebrates the strength of their unique voices. And looking forward to more. Right, Madam Toastmaster.
Wow, thank you, Gina. Yes, your introduction said you've been in Toastmasters off and on for over 20 years. And it's amazing how people come back into Toastmasters when they discover something that Toastmasters has to offer. Your speaking ability and getting your thoughts together to present today's speech has been enlightening and very informative, and we look forward to hearing more from you. So thank you very much. I see that we have several guests today online, and I wonder if they will be around, stick around for the end of this meeting, because we want to ask them how they heard about us and what they thought about our meeting today. Specifically, Arif Zaldi and Jerry Luo and Latoria Williams. Thank you for joining us, and we hope you enjoy the rest of our meeting. The next speaker, I believe, is Kama Burton. Kama, are you still speaking with us today?
Yes, I am.
All right. Okay, I do not have an intro. So before you start your speech, could you give us a brief bio about you and then lead into your speech? Ladies and gentlemen, Kama Burton.
Well, good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for bringing me up. Yes, my name is Kama Burton. I am the founder of a couple of companies, the founder of Kama Speaks, and that is my speaking, coaching, and training business where I help entrepreneurs become stronger speakers. I help real estate agents train in our forms and become stronger realtors. And I train the real estate community as a whole on the various forms that we have, changes in our industry, and so much more. Also, I'm the proud broker owner of CMB Realty Services. CMB stands for my children's initials. I've been a broker for the last 4 years, and I absolutely love and adore it. And also, lastly, I am the founder of Loving Me First, which is a nonprofit to help build self-esteem in the girls in the community, for the girls in the community. So that's a little background about who I am. I will say I have to just make this announcement. I'm really proud that as of October 6th, I was given an honorary doctorate's degree. So now I am Dr. Kama Burton for the work that I did and do in the community with Loving Me First.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And just to say a special thank you for Latoria, who I invited as a guest today. Hopefully she'll still be on or have time to speak at the end. Now I'll jump into my speech. The speech title is The Importance of Business Planning. We are entering into, or actually in the last quarter of the year. This is a time where people are trying to determine what they're going to do for the upcoming year in 2025. As a matter of fact, a lot of people have this saying for years called new year, new me, which I really don't like that term because it shouldn't be a new you. The only thing we should be doing is upgrading or updating who we are. There shouldn't be too much new about who we are because we should be proud of the person that God has created us to be. But I know that a lot of people are trying to decide what will life look like, especially in sales. How many gross commissions do I need to have? How much gross commissions do I need to have? How much do I need to net to help myself when it's time for me to pay my bills or vacation or whatever it is that we're trying to do in life? But I think it's very important that we start with a business plan. A business plan is the success to it's the plan to our success. There's a quote that says, without a plan, a person cannot succeed. Where do you go without some type of direction? Think about it. How many times have you driven to someone's home and you had no idea where you were going and you didn't have a plan to get there? Before we had our GPSs on our phones, we had Thomas guides. There's places that you can go in areas, even to this day, that people can tell you landmarks of where a place is just to make sure that you get to your destination. And that's why it's important for us to take time to write down our plan. As a matter of fact, I believe every business owner, every entrepreneur should have a plan as early as September. Why wait to the end of the year? Because by this time, your plan of action should already be in place. But if you haven't started, make sure you find the time to sit down and start your plan of action. It's very important as well that you get focused. And a couple of ways that you will get focused is, for one, you need to find out what is your niche. I talked to several entrepreneurs, not just in the real estate industry, but whether it's baking cakes or doing some type of bakery, selling whatever it is that they're selling. I always tell people to make sure they find a niche. I'm going to focus a little bit on real estate. In real estate, it is multifaceted. You can be a property manager. You can work with investors. You can work with people that are potentially in the midst of losing their home, a first-time home buyer, someone that wants to, someone in the military. And when I have agents come speak to me, whether they work for my office or work with another office, my first question is, who do you want to focus on? Because the problem that I see is that many people get into this industry and they want to help everybody. That's great. That's beautiful. That's wonderful. But if you don't get focused on that one niche, that one area that can help you expand your business, it's going to be hard to work with everyone else. Let's take working with veterans, for example. There's different types of certifications one can do. One comes to mind called military relocation professionals. That's one of the certifications that I teach for the National Association of Realtors. It's a great course where one will learn how to work with those that are in the military, that relocates. It gives the terminology. It helps them understand the mindset of that person that's in the military or even a veteran. And it's important that the more that I know, the more I can help that particular buyer. That buyer becomes a seller. That seller becomes an investor. That investor could potentially lose their home and they need help. And that shows when I focus on this one particular client, no telling what can come out of it. The next thing I would say is to have a calendar. Make sure that you know what you're doing on a daily. I was talking to, ironically, Latoria a couple of days ago, and we were talking about the importance of a calendar. Just in the last few months, I found that it was very important to have my Google Calendar. I'm a handheld person. I like to write. I love to write things down, but I found that when I put things into my calendar, I became more efficient. Then I found another tool called Calendly. Last night, I got a call from someone who called me twice. She called me in the morning, but I was working with an agent. She called me last night and I was helping another broker from another company with something. And I just didn't have the time to talk. So what I did was I sent her my calendar link. She wasn't a part of my plan for the day, but she was able to be a part of my plan for another day. So now she booked something where we can talk on Friday. And what that did was it left me not feeling anxious to have to call and have to jump and have to do something and not stay focused on what my plan was for the day. And the last thing that I'll say that we have to focus on or think about is when we're business planning to understand that self-care is everything. There's a quote that says, self-care is not selfish. While we're planning for our year, we're thinking about those things that we're going to do, especially as salespeople, especially as a real estate broker, a practicing real estate broker. I have clients, I have agents, I have coaching clients. I'm training other agents, I'm training other brokers. But if I'm not taking care of myself, I'm not doing good for myself. So what's important for me in my business plan is that I have massages once a month to make sure that I take care of myself. I have plans with my family to go on vacation or spend time together, which is key. So taking that time to take care of self should be a part of your business plan. So in conclusion, I encourage each and every one of you, if you have not planned for your 2025, take the time. You don't have to do it alone. Partner with someone. Put your business plan together, because remember, your business plan is the success to your business. Thank you.
Wow. Lots of information, comma. Thanks for sharing. And that part about your calendar and forwarding it to a friend or a client keeps everyone on task, especially you. And self-care is very important. Thank you so much. Please send personal comments to comma in the chat box as we move along to our next speaker. Now we have Frankie Jones, who has signed up to speak on the Faith Monument. She's currently studying at the Patriot Academy to lead coaching classes in biblical citizenship. She's excited to share what she's discovered in her pilgrim's journey and an amazing instruction manual that left for our nation's subsequent generations to build and maintain a free and just society. She believes everyone should learn about our unique heritage and the wisdom of our nation's founders. Please welcome Frankie Jones.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Fellow Toastmasters, most welcome guests. Once upon a time, there was a lad named Kirk Cameron. He's an actor and an evangelist, and he decided to retrace the journey of the pilgrims from England, where they were being persecuted mercilessly, and they were seeking religious freedom. They escaped to Holland. They were there for 12 years in hiding, receiving tutelage from their beloved pastor, John Robinson, on how to build a just, civil, and free society. They took the leap of faith and embarked on the journey to this land, arriving at Plymouth Rock. While there, they met a tribe that I cannot pronounce, so we'll just say the natives were there, and they created this society. And what is wonderful is they left a marker. They left a physical reminder of their philosophy and what this nation was founded on. There we go. Can everyone see the PowerPoint? Are we good? All right. This is faith. Faith stands resolute and unwavering, adorned by 4 symbols which define the philosophy of the Pilgrims and founding fathers alike. Here is faith under construction. Standing at a towering 81 feet, whose original sculptor's plan was supposed to be 150 feet, like the Colossus of Rhodes, but 81 feet tall, and overlooking Plymouth Harbor, the National Monument to the Forefathers may be the most complex and self-consciously Christian landmark in the United States. Impressive in stature, its message is the soul of the inspiration it communicates. That faith, morality, law, education, and religious liberty are the prerequisites of a free and prosperous nation. Faith holds an open Bible in her hand, and not just a regular Bible. This was the Geneva Bible, the first Bible that was translated into English. Her finger is pointing heavenward. It's representative of the Pilgrims' belief that there was one path to redemption and one mediator between God and man, Jesus Christ, Jesus the Christ. There's a star on her forehead, and it's a symbol of honor and a reminder that the Pilgrims believed that the regenerative mind was obliged to begin with the foundation of biblical revelation and to apply reason to all life. So reason. And she stands on Plymouth Rock, stepping forward, a nod to the doctrine of providence, the belief that the Christian reformers and pilgrims alike, that God governs and directs the affairs of men. So here is the full statue, and you'll see seated below her are 4 statues, which represent these necessary elements, which the Pilgrims and the founders believed were prerequisite to our freedom and prosperity. The first is morality. And at the feet of morality is the prophet and the evangelist. Morality has her eyes closed because morality is an internal issue. Next to her is a relief underneath that is called embarkation. And that's, of course, when they left Holland headed for the new land. Next to her is law. Law is holding the 10 Commandments, which is what our laws are governed on in this nation. The first 4 commandments, of course, deal with the relationship between God and man, but the rest of them deal with our relationship with each other. And this was what they based their society on. On the other, next to her is education, and it's a mom teaching from the Bible her children, and at her feet is youth and wisdom. And also seated there is peace. And the relief under her is compact, which represents the Mayflower Compact and the treaty with the Indian natives. And of course, next to her is Liberty. Now, this guy is buff, yeah. He's strong. He's wearing the breastplate armor of God, with helmet of salvation, the sword of justice. And under him, it's tyranny overthrown. He's got a lion slung over his shoulder, and he is protecting this new concept of a free and just society. And the relief under him is the landing, which is, of course, when they landed at Plymouth Rock. This is one of the reliefs on the side carved into stone. Thus, out of small beginnings, greater things have been produced by his hand, that made all things of nothing, and gives being to all things that are. And as one small candle may light 1,000, so the light here kindled hath shone unto many, yea, in some sort to our whole nation. Let the glorious name of Jehovah have all the praise. That was by Governor William Bradford at the time. So here is a picture of the various sides of this amazing monument that we have gifted to us. And here was the pilgrim's message, the voice of our Plymouth founding father speaking from the grave, and etched in beautiful reliefs and written on stone, the DNA of American freedom. A reminder to future generations that our national prosperity emerged from gospel foundations. There is much more to this amazing monument, and I am saddened that I am almost 80. I was 80 years old before I even knew about this. Now, granted, I was in England for 3 years of my education, which maybe that's when it was taught, and I'm hoping it's still taught today. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Congratulations, Frankie. Thank you for giving us such a wealth of information and history about the freedom that took place with the pilgrims and the monument. Where is that monument?
Plymouth, Massachusetts.
All right, then.
Well,
we should have known because it's on Plymouth Rock, right? Now, what we learn in history carries forward for ourselves and for our children and our children's children. So thank you for sharing that information with us. We have so much more to learn. And thank you to our members and guests today for inviting us to this Speakathon and being a part of it. Please share your private comments in the chat box to Frankie Jones. Thank you again. Now, our next speaker is our club president, Dr. Valencia Jones. She indicated that she may speak more than 5 to 7 minutes because I think that sometimes we don't appreciate or know what's going on in the world. We only know what's going on in our own world. But Dr. Valencia said that she might go over 4 to 6 minutes. So let's give her 8 to 10. We have a few less speakers than we thought we would have today. And she said the title of her speech is Yesterday, Today, and Tomorrow. Valencia, please give a brief introduction about yourself to our members and guests before you start your speech. Dr. Valencia.
Grand Rising Toastmasters. Frankie, just FYI, this is my introduction, and I'll let you know when the speech begins. As an introduction, my name is Dr. Valencia Jones. I'm a mom, a child of God, a friend, a Toastmasters, and have been an entrepreneur for several years. without trying to be. I'm also an educator, and that's what I've done for 20 years. I have my doctoral degree in biostatistical mathematics and also higher education. In Toastmasters, my profile is being an area director, a 3-time DTM, but I stand before you today just as a humble person that is a president of entrepreneurs. And my speech today is going to be about entrepreneurs Toastmasters, yesterday, today, and tomorrow. Frankie, I'm beginning. Fellow Toastmasters, entrepreneurs, future entrepreneurs, and guests. A few years ago, Entrepreneurs Toastmasters began. It was placed in the heart and mind of the person that just introduced me, Madam Rosalind Carter, and many people that are online today. How many of you were charter members of entrepreneurs? Just by show of hands. I see a few waving their hands. Thank you very much. As a part of the goal of entrepreneurs, they wanted to assist those, support those, and gather with those that were already entrepreneurs to bring in those that may not have yet been entrepreneurs, but were thinking about it, and also to assist those with sustaining their entrepreneurship. A part of that charter talked about creating a business plan. So next semester, as I would call it in my professor world, or for the next 6 months, after we finish, I guess beginning in January, we'll do just that. We'll go over creating a business plan that some of our earlier speakers discussed. We'll talk about what kind of business, an executive summary. We'll go over a company description, how to do a market analysis, how to organize and structure your mission, your vision, your financial plan, and etc. So what does that mean to someone that does not have a business idea yet? It may not mean much. It may be jargon. What? Structure, marketing, background, financial planning. Well, what you heard earlier from Madam Dr. Kama, congratulations on your honorary doctorate, is a lot of what my speech is going to be about. I'm just giving you the intricacies and details that will support you throughout this process. But if you're online today and you're thinking, I don't have a business idea, but I want to be an entrepreneur and I'm thinking about it. Over the next few minutes, I'll share with you creative business ideas or startup companies that you can have. And as you heard from many people today, you may have 1, 2, or 3 ideas about businesses. So give me your ear. And maybe you might think about starting one of these businesses. Once I'm done with that portion of my speech, then I'll give you a few steps in how to begin your business. November 20th, 2024, that's correct. What businesses are active? What can I do? What am I interested in? Some hot topic business ideas could be as following. Have you thought about being a personal assistant? With AI technology on the rise, many people don't know how to use AI. They feel like it's complex. There are several projects. There's a lot of data-driven insights that can happen in decision-making. So there's over $2 billion that can be made in 2025, and that's projected to be made by AI personal assistants. So if this is something you may be interested in, think about it. Another business idea is online coursework. There are several platforms that are free for you to be able to create online coursework. And social media marketing, being a photographer, health, whatever you feel like you want to share with the world. Are you fluent in a foreign language? You can develop and create an online course and have someone log in and sell it. This is a great way for you to begin starting your own business, and see where it goes from. After you get a few that want to learn the foreign language, they want you to take their pictures in photography, do a couple of weddings or proms, or anything as far as social media marketing, then you can grow that business into something unique. Next, there is Going Green Beauty Products. Everyone is all about the earth and environment, and they see the disintegration and probably the tornadoes, the earthquakes, if you haven't felt a few last week, earthquakes and devastation is taking place. So there's a lot of buzz about going green. So if you're thinking about beauty, that is another way that you can think about being an entrepreneur. Something that's booming right now is pet products or even pet sitting, helping pet owners out with things that they need in order to support their animals. As people begin to retire or just want a pet, they want to go out of town with their family, they want to go out of town by themselves, and they may not want to wait on a wait list from PetSmart that many people are starting to do. They want to know who can pet sit for them. Are you in a place that can do so? Do you love furry friends? If that's the case, then maybe you may want to pet sit. And pet sitting pays a lot of money. How about fitness? You just love to work out. You go to the gym regularly, or maybe you just started running 5Ks or 10Ks. Virtual reality fitness is another way to go. Creating virtual classes that are led by AI trainers, or they can be led by you, is definitely something you can think about. Now, those of you out there that have had a successful marriage, a successful relationship, there are some people, a lot of singles out there that are looking to date, looking to marry, and want to know the time-tested truths that have taken place and worked for you. Yes, you could be a widow. Yes, you could be married 30, 40, 50 years. But what kept you together? How did that work? You can sell those secrets. I know Mrs. Gillis and Mr. Gillis have been married a long time. So Ms. Gillis, that could be you. She's gave me some advice on communication and relationships. So I'm just thinking about that. Yeah, you've heard of Tinder, you've heard of Match, but sometimes people just want to hear from real people that are authentic about how to keep their relationship together, how to communicate, what works. I heard someone say that they've been a Toastmaster for 20 years. Do you realize people are still in fear of public speaking? Yes, they are. So public speaking coaches is another idea that you can think about. One last idea, second to last idea I wanted to share with you is rideshare startups. They're a lucrative business, and there's different ride shares that can begin. Yes, there's luxury cars, there are cheaper cars, Turos out there, but any type of ride share startup can work. There are some cars that have 3 wheels, 2 wheels, yes, and people want to do something that's unique, different, fun, and exhilarating. An example of that is my oldest brother. He wanted a Porsche, always wanted it, and he said, "No, I'll buy a Corvette." It was $120,000. He simply toured his car for 4 months at $1,000 each time they rented it, and his car is paid off. His $120,000 car is paid off because people wanted to ride in that Corvette. So yeah, it took the risk of letting people ride your Corvette, give it away, but those are just a few that you can think about. And then mental health. Yes, you can coach. Yes, if you have ever been through something and sought counseling, mental health can definitely be the way to go. In addition to delivery services, any type of pet services, water purification, or just cleansing and cleaning your body. Anything about health could be helpful to you. And now, what do I do now that I have this idea? In just a couple minutes until I give you my part 2 next time. Determine what your concept is. What do you love? What's something that you can do in your sleep? What advice can you give to others? What kind of business would you like to start? What is your funding source and how much time will it take? All right, now that we have our business, now that we have an idea, and now that we know how much time we have, you do some primary research. In your primary research, you just look at conclusions, data. Are there other businesses out there? And then once you do that, your secondary research about your area, what you know about technology and how you can get it done. And then you do a SWOT analysis of strengths, weaknesses, what are your opportunities and what are any threats? Is it single manufactured? What are the trends positive? Is there anything unique about what's selling? What technology needs to be updated? What do I need to start this business? Are there any threats? Any expertise that I lack? What is my strongest asset? What unique resources do I possess? And after we do this, we'll create our business plan. Now, how is that going to look? Well, stay tuned from January to June of this year. Walk with us, ride with us, and join us at 7 a.m. down the road to entrepreneurs, Toastmasters, and you'll find out exactly how the entrepreneurs look. This is yesterday, today, and tomorrow in Entrepreneurs Toastmasters. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Valencia. So listen, we've learned a lot. We've come full circle with entrepreneurship, you sharing your business acumen. We have guests who have questions, I'm sure. And there was a last speaker slot that I took because I wasn't sure if we would have enough time to cover everything and have more people engage in speaking. But I will relinquish that spot on talking about my favorite Thanksgiving by offering you time to meditate, time to think about your favorite Thanksgiving next week. It's around the corner. You might be preparing your first turkey. And like me, my first pot of gumbo was not a disaster. And my turkey came out okay, according to my mom. So we'll talk about that another time. But I want our guests to have an opportunity to say what they thought about today's meeting, what our members thought about our Speakathon, because we intended to have about 10 speakers. And now, because our meeting needs to close in 10 minutes, I want you all to think, what was your favorite Thanksgiving? What have you learned today? And coming back again to a future Toastmasters meeting with the entrepreneurs. So let's go to, first I want to ask our timer, Frankie, how did our speakers do?
Well, bad, Frankie. He forgot to start the timer for you.
Okay.
Georgina, you were 8 minutes and 3 seconds, so you were a little over there for an icebreaker. Kama, you were at 6:40. You were perfect for the 5 to 7. I forgot to time myself. And Valencia, you were at 10:33.
And Bond?
I forgot I was timer.
Oh, that's
I looked at
okay.
and said, "Oh my gosh, I'm doing that too." So
We're human. Thank you so much, Frankie. Was that it?
that's it.
Okay. Now, let me ask our guests. We have Jerry Luo. We have Latoria Williams. And I thought that there was a third guest on the roster, but let's give them a minute or so to say what they thought about today's meeting, and then I will turn it over to our president, Dr. Valencia Jones, to conclude the meeting. Jerry.
Thank you. Yeah, I got a club messenger from Facebook, and the name of Entrepreneur Club catched my eye, and because 4 years ago, I wanted to be an entrepreneur, and I tried but failed. But this is still my dream, and I have been a Toastmaster for 5 years. Now I live in Vietnam, in Saigon. Yeah, thank you. Back to Toastmaster.
Thank you. Did you say you're from Vietnam?
Yes,
Oh, thank you for joining us. What time is it out there?
now it's about 11:06.
PM?
Yes,
Oh my goodness. Thank you for staying up late with us and hope you will be able to join us again at a future meeting. We meet the first, third, and fifth Wednesday of every month at 7 a.m. Pacific time. Okay, thank you so much. And Latoria, what did you think about today's meeting? I know you came for your friend Kama.
I did. Good morning. I thought it was amazing. I loved all the speeches and the ways they were told and the stories. I learned some things today. So thank you for having me. And thank you, Kama, for inviting me. She knows that I have a desire to speak. I'm stepping into some positions where it's being required more and more of me. And so seeing the format and listening to how these speeches are structured is very helpful. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your kind comments, and we hope to see you again soon. Now, there was a message that flashed on my screen, probably yours too, that said that there was a group photo to be taken. If whoever was doing that can do so again to take a group photo to all of these beautiful faces, we would appreciate it so we could put it on Facebook. We do have a Facebook page, and we want everyone to be acknowledged. So smile for the camera, and whoever's taking the picture,
That's
wave
Bond.
your hand. It's done?
It's Bond.
Okay, Bond, did you take the picture?
Yes, I did.
Okay, thank you so much, Bond. So now, all of you who are ready to celebrate Thanksgiving in whatever fashion you do with your family and friends, next week, we hope that you don't gain too much weight from all the food you're eating, because that's what Thanksgiving is all about for me. It's about food, 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 food. And we have so much to be thankful for. We go around the table and everybody says what they're thankful for. If you could just say what you're thankful for in a comment in the chat box, we would appreciate it. And now I return conduct back to our club president, Dr. Valencia Jones.
Thank you very much. Can we please give our Toastmaster and our first president, Madam Rosalind Carter, a warm round of applause, a hand, an emoji, or anything of the sort?
And oh, I forgot, Dr. V, Melinda is our general evaluator. If we could allow her a couple of minutes to make comments about the overall meeting. Thank
Of
you.
course. You're more than welcome. Thank you so much for all of the speakers that were here today, and I would like to turn this meeting over to Melinda so that she can give us a general evaluation of the meeting.
Entrepreneur Toastmasters, it's been a wonderful journey this morning. Everybody, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
perfect. Okay, good. It's been a wonderful journey this morning. We got diverse information. It's always good to learn something new. I'm sure everybody learned something new today that you did not know before. And that's what's exciting about being an entrepreneur Toastmasters. It's a journey of soaring. I appreciate the diversity from the speakers, and everybody gave us a little tidbit to enlighten our brains to the next level. And that's what the power is of this particular club, Entrepreneur Toastmasters. It's the journey of continually soaring and growing and moving to the next level. And so thank you, Toastmasters, today for what you've done, everybody in their role. Roz for coordinating with our speakers to be the Toastmaster of the day. Charles for your powerful, I repeat, powerful, Charles, educational moments so we can learn something new and how we elevate ourselves and how we soar. I look forward to the next step in our lives. I look forward to the next step in my journey myself. And the guests that came on, thank you for being with us today. That's what it's all about, always soaring and growing and not being afraid. And so, to all of you Entrepreneur Toastmasters, continue. I dare you. Take on a new role, do something new, empower yourself to the next level. That's what it means to be an Entrepreneur Toastmasters. Back to you, Madam President.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, Melinda. Toastmasters, Entrepreneur Toastmasters. You've heard it today. It's a specialty club, not like your normal Toastmasters club, but definitely has all components. When you come here, you'll definitely learn, you'll be enhanced. It's diverse, it's warm, it's welcoming, and please have your notes ready. If you are aspiring to be an entrepreneur, you are a successful entrepreneur, or anywhere in between, this club is for you. This is 1 hour or hour and 15 minutes per week that is well spent. With that in mind, we are grateful and thankful that you were here and just want to know, do any of our members have any announcements before we adjourn the meeting?
I have a quick announcement.
Yes, come
I'm
on.
having an event on Saturday, December 7th. It's virtual called it's building your leadership skills. I can send over a flyer that for anybody that's interested in, I'm sorry, not your leadership, your speaker skills. And I can send information over to anyone that might be interested or send it out. And I don't know if it can just go out to the group, but I'll get that over to you all.
No problem.
Yeah,
If anyone else has any more announcements about their business, please put them in the chat. I think these will be great, awesome ideas. Congratulations on your endeavors. We are happy to hear what you are doing. And also feel free to put them on our website through Bond. Any other announcements?
I took note of what Gina said. She's got her doctorate degree. Is that correct, Gina? Dr. Gina Salazar, another doctor in our club. Thank you so much for choosing us as your Toastmasters Club.
Thanks for having me.
I took note of what Jerry said. Jerry said, I'm looking to start a business. I started a few. They didn't do well, but I'm looking to start. Jerry, you're already successful because you already tried 3. No matter where they are and where they've been, there's someone else that's been trying to start it for years and never started one. So keep walking down this road of success until you get there. Just fail forward until you get it right, and then bam, it'll show up. With that in mind, entrepreneurs, this has been an amazing meeting. I'm trying to see if we have anyone sign up for our closing thought. And if we do not, the closing thought for today is to make every minute magical. This last hour and 15 minutes have been magical, a miracle. Whatever you go through, whatever happens, find the magic in that until you get to that next minute, that next moment. With that in mind, except for all of our officers, we will see our members next time. Bye for now.